Shane McMahon issues a statement on his meeting with Tony Khan, plus the backstage WWE reaction to that Shane McMahon-Tony Khan meeting, and an update on Bryan Danielson's wrestling retirement. It's all in the Cultaholic wrestling news right now. By now, we have all seen this photo. There he is. Nice suit and a weird hand gesture. Nice suit and a weird hand gesture. Nope, fine. But Shane McMahon has given a comment about that meeting that took place with Tony Khan.
Yes, he did, via Bully Ray on Busted Open Radio. He said, Tony and I were connected through a mutual friend and we had a great meeting. We talked about many things, but mostly about our shared love for the business and the rewards and challenges of working with family. I congratulated him on 5-year anniversary of AEW and look forward to how he evolves the business moving forward.
Who expected Bully Ray to be the conduit of this Shane McMahon-Tony Khan meeting?
He's got his fingers in many pies, does that Bully Ray?
He really, really has. Now, behind the scenes at WWE, WrestleVotes got a bit of a reaction from seeing this photo, and they said asked a longtime WWE employee friendly with Shane for thoughts on the Tony Khan picture. The response: Shane's as smart as they come. Taking a preliminary meeting doesn't surprise anyone here. CM Punk was on the Sports Illustrated Media podcast when the news broke and was asked about the photo. He declined to talk about it though, but when asked if Shane McMahon joining AEW would shock him, Punk replied, "Nah, I don't think so." We live in a wild time, don't we, Andrew?
We certainly do. Me and Jack were obviously, when the news broke, me and Jack did a news video. Jack was very much, I was very much of the mindset of curiosity. I would absolutely, part of me definitely wants to see this happen in some capacity because of just how insane it would be to see a McMahon on AEW TV. Would be crazy. But then Jack also made, I think, a very good point as well. Like, how does that work out in the long run? Short term, it might be brilliant, fantastic, you know, oh my God, there's a McMahon on TV, headlines, this, that, and the other. But what does he then bring to the table, perhaps backstage and in other different aspects within AEW? What do you reckon?
Well, here's a meme of Shane McMahon holding all the titles in AEW. So I think that clears that up nicely. There is such a short-term gain to getting Shane McMahon on there. They've got a show coming up at Arthur Ashe in New York. The idea of having the only McMahon, the only blood McMahon in wrestling now, in the middle of an AEW ring in New York is a moment.
Oh, absolutely.
From there, I don't know. I don't want to see Shane McMahon on telly every single week. I was not excited about it in WWE. I would not be excited about it in AEW. Does Shane McMahon bring a portfolio of work backstage and behind the scenes and a body of work to AEW? I guess he does. I mean, Shane McMahon, I know everyone kind of has opinions on him based on his character and the way he perceives himself. Obviously, he didn't cover himself in glory when reports came out about him booking the 2022 Royal Rumble. And it was like, what if I just come out and just shoot on everybody and win it? That obviously doesn't cover him in glory. But I would also offer that it was back in 2005, 2006, that he was the one that suggested that maybe we have an exclusive WWE show online, because this seems to be the way that the business is going. It was Shane who wanted to bring in ECW as a digital show for WWE.com, something that has obviously become a fairly common way of people consuming media nowadays. So there are moments where he has been able to innovate. They were many years ago, admittedly. I can't speak too much more in terms of what he could bring behind the scenes. But it's just a bit of a wild time.
It is. Agreed.
It's a wild time indeed. We didn't see Shane McMahon on Dynamite last night, and even if we did, which entrance ramp would he jump off, face or heel? We don't know. We did, however, see a new faction born last night on Dynamite EE.
Yes, we did. So after Camille Brickhouse picked up a dominant win on Dynamite, she was joined by Mercedes Moné, who officially introduced her as the newest member of Moné Corporation. Moné had hinted in her latest newsletter that she was wanting to build a faction in AEW, and last night was the first step towards such a thing.
Now, I know what you're thinking. One, yes, Mercedes Moné does have a newsletter.
Yeah,
that's a thing.
That's a thing.
I'd like to think she also has a GeoCities account, but also you've missed a trick on not calling them Monet Incorporated.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
Unless you didn't want to incur the wrath of,
Maybe not.
of people. Now, Mercedes Moné has been announced for New Japan Pro Wrestling's Capital Collision in Washington at the end of this month. She's expected to defend her New Japan Strong Women's Openweight title against an opponent not yet named, but she will be no doubt grafting that night at the end of the month. Bryan Danielson set to graft a few days before that. The small matter of a huge main event at Wembley, and the stakes got higher on Dynamite last night.
They sure did. So Danielson and Swerve had a war of words ahead of their showdown this month at Wembley Stadium. It concluded with Danielson declaring if he doesn't become AEW champion, he will indeed retire from wrestling. The main event of All In is now officially title versus career. Fightful Select are one of several outlets who have reported on Danielson obviously stepping away from a full-time wrestling schedule after Wembley Stadium, with the outlook that he'll move into a backstage role within AEW. Danielson did indeed confirm on Dynamite last night that his wrestling contract was up on August 1st, which is today, and he wouldn't be signing another one.
So now he is officially no longer a wrestler, in theory, but obviously he has got the small matter of a match at Wembley Stadium coming up. Fightful Select also reported that there's been heavy restrictions put on Bryan Danielson due to his overall health and condition on the way to All In. So a lot of plans that they had for him on the road to what could very well be his retirement match were scrapped, as he's been told to really keep wrestling to a minimum. Despite that, next week, as a result of a little backstage tete-a-tete, he's fighting Jeff Jarrett on Dynamite.
Aww.
So it was a fun bit where a very focused, very intense Bryan Danielson backstage, and my best friend Jeff Jarrett is there going, "Hey, well done, that's all how you go all in, that's great." And Danielson, not very happy boy, says, "How about I go all in next week with you, me and you one-on-one next week? We're getting Danielson versus Jarrett."
I can't complain about that.
Nah, well, I will complain if we don't get Jarrett versus Hangman Page, Tony Khan, you coward. Don't leak. I know what he's done.
Go on.
He's getting a lot of grief because lots of people are calling him a coward for not booking Jeff Jarrett versus Hangman Page for Wembley Stadium.
Yeah.
And he can feel the pressure that you and I are putting him under, because this is Grado all over again, and we're building, it's a village, it's taken a village to build this one. He can feel the pressure. He's taken that pressure off himself by, okay, so let's me and Shane McMahon look. That's why he's done it.
Wow.
Trying to bury
big claims right there.
Trying to bury the lead, Tony Khan, you coward. Book Jarrett versus Hangman Page at Wembley. Make it a Texas death match as well, and I'll have some chips to watch it with as well, thanks. Do that. But we're getting a match with him next week. It'll be good times. Also next week on Dynamite, MJF's facing Kyle Fletcher. This is after Kyle Fletcher came to Will Ospreay's aid, again, after MJF jumped him last night. Seems like MJF's on a bit of a tour of facing Will Ospreay's nearest and dearest, because on Wednesday he's facing Kyle Fletcher, and on Sunday he's here in the UK. He's at York Hall in London, is MJF, defending the AEW American title against Michael Oku.
Oh, guy. Well, I thought he was supposed to be working smarter, not harder. No, this man.
He is grafting crafting. He is. And Michael Oku is going to make him work for it. In fact, I had a lovely chat with Michael Oku all about it yesterday, and you can listen to it right now on the Cultaholic podcast feed. We talk about Oku's recent trip to CMLL, his match the other day against Donovan Dijak.
Nice.
And his upcoming match against MJF. And he makes a really valid point. You know, MJF did that promo where he called him a scrawny indie guy from a third world country. I think Michael Oku has him absolutely stumped. He makes an incredibly valid point on why he ain't sweating MJF and why MJF's words mean nothing. Hear it on the podcast. It's genuinely a very valid point. Anything you want to plug, Andrew?
Oh, Tom, it's bloody SummerSlam this weekend, isn't it? Let me tell you. So, we have already got 9 pictures up on the channel, which you can go and watch now. We'll have the predictions going up later today with myself and Adam. Myself and Adam will also be doing the live stream reacts. Yes. Word is there's a 3-hour pre-show, and yes, word is we'll do the whole bloody thing. Oh my god. Fingers crossed they put a match on there. If not, we'll play some TK24 before we get there anyway. So tune in for that. I think if the pre-show is to go ahead, it's a 9 p.m. start time here in Sunny UK. Other than that, we got obviously live reactions, as I said. We got What Happened At with Jack the Jobber and the WTF moments, which will come a little bit later next week because Ross is doing some birthday tings, he said. Have you got anything to plug?
Obviously, my chat with Michael Oku, which we already did. And if I say it again, we'll be stuck in a time paradox.
Oh my God.
And at Tony Khan, book Jarrett versus Hangman Page, you coward. For the latest wrestling news throughout the day, you can check out cultaholic.com. Keys.
Love you, bye.